In this Elden Ring video, I'm going to show you how to get a ton of free runes at the start of the game and cheese a ton of bosses with no build required. This is almost entirely no build required. You should be able to easily do this even at the start of the game. However, I do recommend starting with Samurai if you are going to do this trick, because it does rely heavily on the Uchi-Katana, Longbow, and Parry Shield. These three items are required. However, you can easily start as the Samurai, which will make this build super easy. If not, you can go and find these items throughout the world, which will allow you to be super strong, super duper early on in this game. Alright, now, some of these, I will explain the requirements of each one, and I will show you how to get to each area. If you do wind up using these cheeses, I'd love for you to leave a like and subscribe. I'm going to say it now, because, you know, rather say it now than say it later. So, I will show you all the first trick. First trick has us in Lenne's Rise. This trick requires you to basically spawn at the Bestial Sanctum, which you can do by a little teleport by the Church of America. I will show where it is on the map. And then you just want to run straight down from Lenne's Rise, and you're going to see, oh no, a boulder spawns. But if you run away from it on the horse and then look down where it falls, it gets you a free 2,000 runes. Don't ask how it works, because I don't really know either. But it works, so congrats to you. Free 2,000 runes, and it took me exactly 30 seconds to spawn in, run down, and then begin the warp back. So it should be a super quick farm for 2,000 runes very early in the game. The next farm, or cheese rather, is the Knight's Cavalry right next to the bridge on Lenne's Rise. Alright, Lenne's Rise, the bridge, you have to be here at night for the Knight's Cavalry. Then, as you can see, I'm running onto this side of the bridge. I have no real consistent way to do this. Sometimes he goes off quick, other times he sits there and doesn't want to go off the bridge. So this guy, you kind of just have to run around here. See, he fell off like that. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes, other times it takes like 2. So he does still get you a ton of free runes and can send you from level 1 up to like level 30. Just from him alone, and he's right next to the ball farm at the Lenne's Rise bridge. Alright, the next one has you right by the Fort Greyoll. Yeah, Fort Greyoll, Site of Grace. And this is just a big giant dragon. If you sit super high up on the dragon, none of the dragons can get to you, and if you just hit him with a bleed weapon, he will eventually die, because bleed will chunk his health. Alright, I have this on like 10 times speed. This took me like 4 or 5 minutes. You can see the dragon there. If you're especially high up, he can't get to you. And if he does, he normally doesn't. And then at the end, the dragon dies. So, hope you all enjoyed that. And then I'm going to take you to the later game methods. The next cheese has you at the DTS boss fight. And this required me to aggro him. I apologize, I did not show the start of the fight, but DTS is a required boss to get into Lenne, the royal capital. And if you lure him over to this little cliff, alright, you can either A, parry him or stun him. But basically, when you're on this cliff, alright, you can kind of just hit him, and if you use Unsheath, a few Unsheaths will basically allow you to stun him and then hit him off the cliff. Alright, so you can see I did stun him, but he did not quite go off the cliff there. So you've got to make sure he's at the cliff, and I'd recommend investing in enough vigor to not get one hit by him. Alright, this is a pretty simple one. Optionally, you can parry him, but parrying is a lot harder. I spent 40 minutes trying to do it. Unsheath went off on like my second try. So I'd recommend doing that, and that's a required boss and a bunch of free runes that you can do like as soon as you start the game. As soon as you can make it up to not Lane-Del, but Altus, you can run right over, and then you can kill him for free runes. Alright, the final farm does require you to do Vare's questline or make your way to Mohgwyn Palace. Alright, so I should have a Vare questline video up on the channel. I hope I do at least. But basically, here's where the longbow comes into play. You see that bird from the palace ledge rise, Grace? If you can hit him, his pathing will send him right off a cliff. See? Right like that. And that's a free, like, 10,000 runes. Alright? It's a free 11,000 runes, actually. And you can repeat that. Optionally, if you don't want to shoot off the bird, or for some reason they patch it with Tarnished Edition, just kill the Albinaurics. They are pretty easy to kill, especially one at a time, as long as you don't aggro the red ones. Alright? These things are pretty easy. They give you about 2,000 runes a pop. Not bad, but the bird farm will still be faster unless you have Wave of Gold. Wave of Gold will entirely wipe out all of them instantly, but that's only after you beat the game. So, this is not included. However, if you enjoyed, that is all the cheeses I have. I know there is a cheese for a dragon in, not Altus, Caelid, that you can get off a tree, and it gives you a bunch of runes. However, I am unaware of how to actually do it, and I couldn't figure it out. So if somebody does know how to get that dragon off the cliff, please drop it in the comments, because that would be great and extremely helpful for me. And probably everybody else, because that's a lot of runes, and I know that. However, you should be able to do this as soon as you start the game. Vare questline should be out on the channel by the time this video is out. And then, I hope you all have a great day. And if you use the cheeses, or showed somebody else the cheeses, I'd appreciate if you'd like and subscribe to the channel, because I'm not that unintelligent. I mean, I'm still pretty unintelligent a lot of times. However, I do know how to cheese things. So, hope you all enjoyed. I will catch you all in a couple of days with another Elden Ring guide. I don't know what it is yet, so that will be a surprise for both you and me.